Hello and welcome to another episode of The Holistic Way. My name is Todd Hart. I'm the host of the show. And today I'm got a very special guest. Laura is joining us today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I'll tell how we met and give some background.
Okay, my name is Laura Terry, and I'm a psychic medium, and I work in Wakefield at the Heart of Peacedale.
So you and I met previous to this, we had Shawna Sedo on the show.
Yes.
And he does the crystal singing bowls.
He does.
And you and he actually just recently got engaged.
We did, yes.
So congratulations on that.
Very excited.
The Holistic Way TV show is bringing love together.
Yes, absolutely.
We're making love happen.
Yes, he's an amazing man. I'm very blessed.
He's a cool guy.
Yes,
yeah,
he
he's
is.
a very cool guy.
Yes.
So you and I took my daughter to Providence Power Yoga, and there was a sound healing going on that you were attending as well. So that's how we met.
Yes.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Transformational.
And so while we were there, you did some
cards. I did intuitive tarot.
Intuitive tarot with Sasha. So tell me a little bit about that. What is that, and how long have you been doing it?
Okay, intuitive tarot is basically tarot cards, oracle cards. I work with a few different decks, and I just intuitively pull cards for clients, whatever I feel. They tell me to stop, I pull them, and it tells a story for the client, what they need to know, what the universe wants them to know. So for her, it was confirmation on her journey and where she's going.
Yeah.
So she was pretty excited about it.
She loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was fascinated by it. So you and I actually did a reading before the show, prior to the show today, and the reading itself, it confirmed everything that's going on right now in my life.
Right.
I'm making some amazing changes in my life, this show being one of the changes that I've added to my life. I've started a radio show. I'm involved in the essential oils that I've talked about on the show. I'm diffusing them right now.
And it was confirmation that...
It was confirmation, and you know, you don't know...
Inspiration.
You don't know any of this stuff.
I know nothing.
But you came in, and everything that you're saying is perfectly in tune with, okay, I'm on the right path. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing.
I ask for guidance for each client. What is it that they need to know is to inspire them, to help them to continue on their path, to give them guidance if they need to make decisions or, you know, anything like that. So whatever comes out in the cards, that's exactly what they need to know.
Yeah, it's funny, as we're sitting here at this very moment, I'm thinking in my head earlier today, before you came, because you stopped by the house before, I live right around the corner, I kind of threw out into the universe, you know, am I on the right path? Am I doing everything I'm supposed to be doing? And I just remembered that now.
So
and
there
so
you are.
the reading was exactly that. It said exactly, I'm on the right path.
Yes.
It was, I mean, it was pretty specific with what
We
it talked
talked about in the reading how you've changed directions. And as I pulled cards, there was a card that I set aside.
Yes.
So intuitively, my guides just told me set that card aside, and that happens every once in a while, so I go with it. So what was that card?
Well, I also said that's the important one.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's the one I want to know about. And was it the...
change in direction.
Change in direction.
It was change in direction.
Because as soon as you put it aside, my mind was like,
whoa.
What is that?
Yeah.
I want to know what that one is.
Yeah.
And it was change in direction.
So I just feel that feeling and I go with it. And so that's just confirmation that the change of direction, that where you are is where you've been guided to be. So it's exciting.
And we talked earlier about, I'm coming up with, I want my life back, and I want to help people get their life back.
Yes.
Because I think too many people lose themselves
Absolutely.
in life, just in life.
For what I do, that holds true. And you know, when people come in, a lot of times people come to a psychic or a medium when they're kind of in a difficult place, just looking for either to connect with a past loved one or for guidance. So I have to say a lot of my readings tend to go toward the soul guidance
Right.
Side of things. I surely tap into past lives or, you know, spirit that's with them, but the readings always tend to go with a little soul guidance. So
Now, do you ever have a client that comes in and you say, oh no, you're on the wrong path. You're heading into dangerous zone here. Does that ever happen?
Well, I have to say that it's gently put to them.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
Like, no, stay away from there.
Right.
It's there's always a gentle way
You
to
might want to reconsider.
shift. Yeah, to reconsider
Right.
some of the decisions that you're making. If it doesn't feel right, if there's resistance, so that's your intuition. So, you know, they're guiding me to guide them,
Right.
and you know, to help them tap into their own intuition. That we're all getting the answers.
Right.
It's just sometimes we're not listening. So the cards are confirmation of
And
that.
I think sometimes we listen, like I'm listening and I'm following my path right now, but it helps to have this outside, you know, independent come in and
does.
say, yeah, actually, and then to go through it, and every single one ties into it perfectly.
It does. It does.
It makes
you
you
know,
feel
a
good.
lot of people are like, set the cards aside. You know, I can sit and do a reading without them. But I find that people are fascinated when I lay out the cards, and they flow with such ease.
Yeah.
So I find them to be fun and inspirational, and so it's pretty amazing how it's all come about. So
Now, at the beginning, we kind of held hands for a minute or so, right? And we kind of sat quietly. So are you sort of getting in tune with me?
I
or what are you doing
am.
now?
I am. I'll hold your hands. I like to feel your energy. I ask for guidance, for open communication, for clarity, to set my ego aside, to put myself aside, so that whatever I have going on is separate from the reading.
Sure.
So, and you know, what information that comes in to be for your highest good. So that's what I ask for. That's kind of what I put out there.
Is that something you had to learn, the ego part?
The ego part?
To know, like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I'm putting myself into here.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's been something that I've had to kind of fine tune, and but I find that just asking that, you know, it's come with ease.
Right.
So it's something that I've had to kind of throw out there, but you ask and you receive it.
That's pretty cool. So you've been doing this for how long?
About 17 months now.
Oh, so fairly new.
I have, yes. But, you know, looking back on some pretty significant life events, I can say that I know now that I've had the gift all along. But I've had to have some pretty significant things happen for me to say, okay, I hear you, I'm ready now. So
Now, did it take someone else saying to you, you have the gift?
Sean definitely helped me tap into that side of me, without a doubt.
Because Kimberly Tester was on the show, and her and I talked about this, and she said sometimes it takes someone else to say, by the way, you're an empath, by the way, you're, you know, and then you're like, oh, okay,
well,
yes,
feeling those feelings, I'm a trained dental assistant. So I'm sitting, you know, knee to knee with a doctor, and I have patients in the chair.
Oh, you're picking stuff
and
up.
I would pick up stuff, or I would feel amazing amounts of anxiety, and I'm like, there's nothing really going on that I should be worried about or feeling this. So finally figuring it out, well, you're empathic, so you're feeling, and all these things that you're hearing, it's not in your head. That's true and valid. So so that's been kind of neat to finally figure out that, okay, that's not me, that's somebody else.
Now, did you fight this at first, or did you embrace it, or were you kind of like,
you know,
I wanna...
when I finally figured out I'm empathic and those feelings were not mine, I kind of got excited. I was like, oh wow. So once I stopped resisting it and I just let it flow, and my whole world has just, it's just been the wildest ride of my life.
And does it get stronger when you embrace it?
It does. It does. It does. I do some trance channeling. I can pick up so many different things. So when I just tap into it, amazing things have come from it. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
So you work with, who would be, and I always like to ask people this, who's like an ideal person to come to you? What are they experiencing? What are they going through that would say, oh, Laura would be great to help me? What kind of person?
I would have to say it's somebody that is just looking for guidance, like at a crossroads in their life. Or somebody that's definitely lost a loved one, and they don't know how to connect with them. So giving them tools on how they can connect with them, and to not doubt what comes in, that they don't always need me to connect with their loved ones. So what to listen for, what to tap into. So I've given a lot of that advice.
So are you able to channel someone for them, or is it more you're helping them to
I've done both.
Be aware of subtle little things that might be that
I've
person
done
communicating
both.
with you?
I mean, I've had some pretty amazing experiences of, I had 2 young women come one time, and they were booked, and they came in, and there was a 3rd girl with them, and she had no idea that she was going to sit with me. Well, I channeled her grandfather the day before, and I had written the information down. I was meditating, and I got his name, and
oh my goodness,
so many different things about him. So as I was reading with her, I started feeling this energy, and sure enough, we tied it all in together.
Whoa.
So I'm open to everything. There's been so many different things that have happened. So
wow. Well, it's funny. I think I told a story when Kimberly was here, but my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and I had kind of lost contact with my dad. And we had a close relationship when I was younger, and he passed away, and I wasn't there. And it's interesting because my wife, who is more like a grounded person, I tend to be a little more, into the spiritual realm of things, and so so she said she got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and she was, just happened to be looking out from the bathroom, and she saw something going like this over what turned out to, I'm sleeping. She thought it was me. And she's like, what is he doing? Why? She thought it was me. So she walked into the thing and walked, come out of the bathroom, walked into the bedroom, and I'm sound asleep. And she was like, I bet that was his dad.
Absolutely.
Coming, and she still is like blown away by it to this day, because she goes, I saw, someone standing there, and I think she even turned the light on. It was
Did she really? That spirit, that's in.
And she goes, and she knew. She goes, it was your dad. She goes, that once I realized you're sleeping, she goes, it was your dad. And so it's pretty cool.
It's amazing how they come in, and it's just to be in a store and I can feel the presence of somebody's mother standing right there, or I was at a restaurant with Sean, and one of my first experiences of really publicly saying, you have such and such so-and-so with you. We were at a restaurant, and our waitress, I said, Sean, I have to say something. It was just overwhelming.
Right.
Okay, here I go. So sure enough, I asked her to sit, and I said, your mother, you have mother energy with you, and I have this message for you. And sure enough.
Oh my goodness.
And it was just, and it was a release for me, and just great healing for her. So
What did she say?
She couldn't believe it. She was just beside herself. But she had been waiting. She had been asking her for a sign. She had been asking her mother, trying to talk to her, and please, I can't hear you. And sure enough. So it's divine timing.
It's interesting. There's a part of the show, there's a timer, a countdown timer that goes down that kind of lets us know when we're running out of time. And as you're telling the story, I looked, and it was 11:11. And 11:11 is,
It's sign of the angels.
Yeah, sign of the angels. So I kind of, I kind of chuckled there for a second. That's what I was chuckling at. I was like, oh, that seems appropriate. That seems like an appropriate time for me to look up and see that.
So when you tap into it, you start seeing that more, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, every day I see 11:11 and I see 1:11.
1:11.
Every day. I don't miss it. For some reason, I just happen to look. I'm like, oh, there it is again.
Divinely guided.
And I usually do a little thank you.
Ascended Masters are with you. And we, what was the first card that we... Archangel Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
I got to tell my friend Jules about that. She'll appreciate that.
Yeah.
That he came through.
Very much so.
Because he came up big time when we worked together.
Yeah. You can feel the energy.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And that's the first card, and that was a very significant card. So.
Yeah. So pretty cool.
Happened.
So do you find that? So in a case like that with the waitress, when you said something, does she then say, I'd like to work with you? Do you ever find people that are open like that saying, well, can we get together? And
without a doubt, if I share something with them. I've had quite a few that have come and sat with me after I've given them a little message. So
that's like the greatest marketing tool in the world.
It's really cool.
It's really cool.
It really is. And
Like,
it's a lot of fun. And I'm so blessed.
Right.
I mean, like I said earlier, I never thought that I would be doing what I'm doing. I've always been tapped into the spiritual side.
Right.
Like I said, significant life events have occurred, as a child, as in my teen years. And then in 2001, I got really sick. And ever since then, I knew that there was something. I knew that there was something I had to change in my life. It was almost like, I know I'm going to win the lottery. I just don't know when. And it was an excitement in me that I didn't know what it was. I mean, it took several years after that. But once I met Sean and I started tapping into it and just I feel like I'm at home.
How did you guys meet?
We met in Westerly. We actually met at the gym.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay.
we did. And it just has kind of taken off from there.
The old-fashioned way.
He'll love this, but before I really started doing this, and he told me that I'm empathic, and I really started working with it. I had cards. So I was doing it on my own, but I was very interested in it. So, him coming into my life just kind of confirmed that. But one day I asked for guidance with Sean, and what does this mean to me? What's going on?
Yep.
So the lover's card was pulled.
Oh,
so I had to show him. So
that's sweet.
All started from there.
That's very sweet. So you met the old-fashioned way. Like my wife and I met on Match.com.
Oh, okay.
Which seems to be very common nowadays.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people usually say some online thing now.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of the way to meet. People don't go to bars anymore.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
So it was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, so that's cool. You met at the gym. I like that.
Yeah, and
nice.
it just have taken off, and it's been wonderful.
Now he was already doing this sort of work when he met you?
He did. Yeah, he was.
And for a while, right?
He was kind of starting to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been on this journey together. I would say he really started tapping into it a little bit before me, but.
And I would think that you probably strengthen each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny, somebody said that I complete him. I said, no, we complement one another. There's balance there.
Yeah.
We definitely balance each other out.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So again, going back to people like working with you, and is there other people that might be dealing with something that you could help them with that comes to mind? That
Absolutely. I've had people come to me whose children are having issues. I can share a story. I was doing the well care day at Heart of Peacedale, and I had a woman sit with me, and I kept getting the name Henry. You need to ask her about Henry. So I finally asked her about Henry, and she was, I don't know a Henry. I said, no, you know a Henry. I couldn't not put it out there. So she said, well, my friend has a son, and his name is Henry. And I said, well, there's something going on with Henry. Henry's stomach, something with his head. I said, there's something very important about this. And she said, well, he's ill. And so I said, well, there's something with him that we need to kind of tap into, and he has seizures. And I said it would be a really wonderful thing to bring him to see Sean to have some work done. So long story short, she contacted the mother. The mother finally contacted me, and I just told her there's this energy that just keeps pushing me to contact you to get some help for Henry. Something's going on with him. Well, her father passed a few weeks before that. So his energy was coming in.
Oh, was he pushing to get Henry looked like,
Yes.
hey, Henry's got to come in? And,
yes, to tap in and to meet with Henry. So Sean and I went and met with her and Henry, and Sean's worked with him a few times. So
how is he now?
He's getting there. He's getting there. So it's just a process, you know, for her
Wow.
to do what conventional medicine suggests, as opposed to the holistic side. So kind of tying it all in together. But we're still in contact, and he's well.
Was she open when you first contacted her?
She was a little skeptical, of course. Like, this is
who's this person?
Absolutely,
and,
Who is this?
Yeah.
Who is this woman? And why is she tapping into my father? And how does this happen? And
did you tell her that it was the father?
yes.
And then she said, "Oh, he just passed away."
Yes, in our correspondence, yes. Well, I said there's energy, that father energy, and it's crazy how it ties in, and how Spirit just says, "Here's my opening." He knew that we would meet at some point. He knew that there was
Some
importance in
connection
this and the
wow.
connection. So I know so we have to believe in divine guidance, and you know, just.
Well, I'm always reminded about following your intuition. And the example I always give is when you're grocery shopping and you go down the aisle and you look at the ketchup and say, something's telling you to get ketchup, right? And you're like, I know we've got ketchup, we don't need it. And as soon as you get home and you're eating dinner that night and you want ketchup, there's no ketchup.
Yep.
And you're like, why didn't I just listen?
Yep.
Why didn't I listen?
It's about listening.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
really is.
It's about listening.
It's very simple.
It is. It's, you know, and doing what I do, not second guessing what comes in. And you know, there's times that I may not be on point or right, but it always kind of ties in somehow. You know, it's deciphering the messages. It's, you know, getting signs and symbols. Well, how does that work? How does that tie in? But just trusting it and allowing it to flow. And so that's been one of the biggest struggles, but it's just letting it go, and it comes in with ease now.
Yeah. Now, do you find that certain things, like I'm thinking like caffeine or drugs or alcohol, you know, some kind of things like will take you further away, or some things might enhance your, you know, your connection?
I definitely try to stay away from alcohol. I feel that blocks me without a doubt. If I know I have a reading or even the next day, I won't. An occasional glass of wine, but I won't do that if I know that I have readings. It doesn't do well with me. So, but lots of water, meditation, asking for you know, clearing, and that's all I need to do.
Because I ask that because I know I have a lot of friends that are Mormons, and they don't drink alcohol, and they don't drink coffee, caffeinated beverages, and so I think part of that is their, you know, connection to God.
Absolutely.
And so
well,
yeah, there's something
you know,
to
I
it.
was told, you know, back off the coffee a little
really?
bit. Yeah, yes, but that's been a little difficult. So trying to go more the tea side. So trying to listen to the advice given to me. But yeah, alcohol definitely it shakes you up a little bit, and it takes you a little bit out of alignment. Absolutely. So
interesting.
But,
we're getting very close to the end of the show.
Wow.
It goes quick.
I sure did.
Sean told you it goes quick. So you're watching The Holistic Way. If you have any questions for Laura, for myself, for the show, you can send an email to theholisticway@hotmail.com. It's on the screen. Again, theholisticway@hotmail.com. If you have any questions, again, for Laura or for myself, if you have any suggestions for people you'd like to see on the show or themes covered, reach out, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We've got about a minute left, Laura. Any closing thoughts, comments, any messages coming through that, you know, anything you feel compelled to say?
I just grateful for the opportunity to be here, and I know that they are too, because through me, I work with you. We're all interconnected. So, absolutely.
I love it.
Thank you so much.
It's all connected. I told my daughter once, I feel like everything is just a web, and we're all connected. Like this fabric, it's like a piece of fabric, and we're all part of it.
The energy is amazing.
Yeah.
How it just ties into the next, So.
And when you tap into it, and when you, I guess, recognize it and acknowledge it, it gets bigger and stronger.
It does.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for the next part of my journey.
Good times. Good things
Thank
happening.
you.
Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations again on
Thank you.
getting
Very
engaged. I wish you
excited.
both the best.
Yes,
and I
I'm very
am an ordained minister.
I will remember that. Hey, you never know.
I am available. I've done 3 weddings now. They call me Father Todd.
Oh, I
all
love
my
it.
friends on the beach.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. This has been The Holistic Way. I'm Todd Hart, and thank you for joining us today, and stay healthy.